Hello, everybody. We're doing chapter 9 on articulation. Articulation is the joints where they come together and they move. Now, one of the trade-off with having a very flexible and movable joint is stability. So, for example, your shoulder, you can move them, a lot. Okay, all range of motion, but it sacrifices on stability. So that's why the shoulder and the hip joint is one of the most easily injured parts. Has a lot of mobility, but less stability. And when you have more stability, you have less mobility. Now, there are three types of joints we need to learn. Well, anyway, here are the name of them, and then we're gonna dissect every one of them. The amphi, which means two, amphiarthritic joint has limited mobility. Okay, it's got a, for example, intervertebral disc right there, and the pubic symphysis, which is, you've seen it, it's in between the pubic bone. The synarthrotic joint has no mobility at all. Provide protection, for example, to sutures in the head. Okay, manubrial sternal joint. So synarthrosis is got no mobility at all. Amphi, limited, and then diarthrotic joint, freely movable. Okay, the three categories are uniaxial, biaxial, and multiaxial. Uniaxial obviously means one, biaxial is two, and then multiaxial. We're going to look at them in more detail. Let's see, fibrous joints. Let's see. Okay, fibrous joints. They are next to each other. When they're next to each other, they are connected by fibers, by connective tissues, fibrous connective tissue. So bones united by dense fibrous tissue, collagen, that exhibit little of or no movement. So these are your, remember earlier, the synarthrosis joint, synarthrosis, okay? So these are classified into syndesmosis, sutures, and gomphosis. Gomphosis would be your, like your teeth right here. They're not movable, okay, unless you have a loose tooth, okay? And your sutures, you've seen the sutures. Syndesmosis is, here is your ulnar and radius, okay, in between. So in between the ulnar and radius, you have a fibrous ligament in between, okay, inside there, okay, very little or no movements at all. So again, these are syndesmosis, okay. Fastened with band, syndesmosis, fastened with band. Bone is separated by a distance and held together by ligaments or interosseous membrane, okay. Oh, again, here's a syndesmosis joint. Sutures. We've seen sutures, in the skulls, okay. Bone of the skulls, they are called synarthrosis because they're not movable, okay. Gomphosis are also synarthrosis. They are in between in the teeth, okay. So that's gomphosis, and they're all synarthrosis. Sutures are a synarthrosis, and the syndesmosis joint, which is the amphiarthrotic joint, are syndesmosis. Very little or no movements. Cartilaginous. Let me see where we are. Okay, let me see if I can put this all together. Okay. Again, the fibrous joints are sutures, syndesmosis, and gomphosis. These are all fibrous joints. Okay. And functional, different types of how they are moved. Okay, these are how they are moved. Synarthrosis has no movements. Amphiarthrotic, limited movement, and diarthrotic, freely movable. So this is how they are classified. This is how they're classified, whether they're movable or not. Okay. The first class of classification is the fibrous joints. Fibrous joint also has 3 classifications. They are syndesmosis, sutures, and gomphosis. The syndesmosis we saw this. They are got fibrous, but it is amphiarthrotic. Remember, amphiarthrotic is limited mobility. Okay. Suture joints, no mobility, and the gomphosis are no mobility. So these are, even though they are fibrous joints, they are classified as synarthrosis. Okay, makes sense? So synarthrosis for the fibrous joints would be gomphosis and suture, and the only type of fibrous joints that is little bit of mobility is amphiarthrotic, which is by the forearm. Okay, is the syndesmosis joint. Okay, so that was fibrous joints, 3 types of fibrous joint. Okay, now moving on to cartilaginous joints. Cartilaginous joint, there are 2 types of cartilaginous joints. Here it is, synchondrosis and symphysis. Synchondrosis are, let me see if they have another one, another picture. Synchondrosis, joint by cartilage, is usually hyaline cartilage. Okay, so the they are temporary. For example, your epiphyseal plate right here. Okay, sacrum. Let me see if there's a picture of sacrum. Sacrum here. Later on, they will fuse together. Okay, and they will later on fuse together and become synarthrosis. Synarthrosis. That means they will become not movable. Okay, so the cartilaginous joints are hyaline cartilage or fibrocartilage. Only slight movements occur, found in the epiphyseal plate. Remember, that's where it is, and it could fracture. Okay, you have some in between the ribs, costal cartilage, which is rib cartilage, between the vertebra and the coxa, and it will fuse. Okay, let's see. Yep, in between the ribs and stuff. Okay, synarthrosis. Sometimes you find in between the manubrium and the first rib, which this is the manubrium. Okay, between the first rib. The other ones are costal cartilage. Symphysis joint, we saw the pubic symphysis. Okay, this is number 2 of the cartilaginous. This is the second cartilaginous joint. Okay, remember the first one is hyaline or fibrocartilage. Okay, there. First one is synchondrosis, and the second one is symphysis. Okay. Symphysis, bones are joined by fibrocartilage, which resists pulling and bending. Okay, so you need a lot of these resisting from pulling and bending. Okay, limited mobility. So what does limited mobility means? Amphiarthrotic. Okay. Yeah. Manubrial sternum. Okay. Pubic symphysis, and then intervertebral. So don't get them confused. Okay. So these are cartilaginous joints. These are your synchondrosis and your symphysis. What about their movements? Okay, they don't move. This one don't move. This one is synarthrotic. What about the movement of this one? Very little. Amphiarthrotic. Okay. So the first type of joints are fibrous joints. Remember, fibrous joints. Okay, these three types, and they're classified by their movements as well. Second type is the cartilaginous type, and it's synchondrosis and symphysis. Second type. Maybe you can remember by the S. Okay. Third type is the synovial joints. Okay, synovial joints are freely movable. Diarthrotic, remember, is freely movable with synovial fluid in between the cavity. Okay, usually you find them at the end of the bones where they articulate. Predominantly found in the appendicular skeleton, which is not the axial skeleton. Axial skeleton is in the middle. Appendicular skeleton is your arms and appendages and all that. So here's what it looks like. So here's a joint, right? Let's say this is the finger, okay? The metacarpal joints, okay? So in between them, it prevents bone to bone. There's no direct contact between the bone, okay? They move smoothly, okay? They move smoothly, okay? So articular cartilage is on the surface of the bone. Okay, this is the articular capsule. This is the joint cavity where the synovial fluid is. Okay, produced by the membrane and is secreted into the cavity. It lubricates and it nourishes the cartilage. Okay, ligaments is on the outside. Okay, it determines the range of motion. Here it is. So here we are looking at a knee joint. Okay. So let's study some of these parts of the knee. Okay. Meniscus is a C-shaped disc of fiber cartilage. Okay. It's right in there in the meniscus. Okay. The meniscus. Okay. Bursa. Okay.